getting on here, start some conversations. Every day I get on here and I see people talking about God and people talking about politics, current affairs going on in the world, but nobody ever ties one thing to another, and everybody seems somewhat confused to some degree. So I just kind of want to get on here and do my own thing, talk about those things kind of linked together in a way that helps people better understand them. But currently, globally, really, the elite are basically building this system, and justice is not really about justice anymore. It's a really justice is a scam that they're selling to us politically, and they cause division all over the nation. There's racial division, religious division, uh, political division. You know, there's economic division. There's all this different division, and they keep us so divided that it's hard for people to remember just who the hell they are in a world full of uh, a bunch of bullshit. Pretty much. I mean, that's just what it is. Hey, what's up, TC? How you doing? How you been, man? Man, I was in the hospital for a minute. Well, I just went for a little bit, but that's a whole nother thing too. Like I don't play the rules of the game, so I don't have health insurance because I think it's part of the system, and I just refuse to get health insurance. But I know it sounds kind of silly, but uh, man, I thought I was having a heart attack, right? Yeah, I'm okay now, but I thought I was having a heart attack, and I was sitting here, and my wife was sitting on the other couch. I started holding my chest. I was like, babe, call 911. And then I got up and I started walking towards the front door. Boom, I fell, man. I broke my teeth. My teeth are broke. Um, anyway, she called 911 because I guess I was out for a minute. 270 pounds, face first on the floor. Hit pretty hard, man. Anyway, I went to the hospital and they admitted me and done a test on my head, on my heart. And anyway, after being in there for a little bit, they come in and like, well, you got a golf ball size gallstone in your gallbladder. I'm gonna set you up with a surgeon, and you can deal with it all outpatient. And I'm like, look, dude, I don't have insurance, so like, if it's causing me to lose consciousness, it seems like a medical emergency, right? Well, technically, we look for it to be inflamed and this and that. I said, well, what happens if I'm out driving with my family? Because I often drive. I'm the one that drives when, we got to go somewhere and stuff. He's like, and then I lose consciousness and then I get in a wreck. He's like, well, don't go out and drive. I said, you know what? How about what if I just don't leave here? I said, what if I just don't leave here? Then what? I mean, what if I refuse to leave this hospital until you all address my medical emergency? I'll just call the cops. I said, I'll tell you what, man, call them motherfuckers. I don't care if you call them. What's up, Andy? Addy? Um, I said, call him. And by that point, he done pissed me smooth off. I got a little bit of a temper whenever I see the system being that's broken. Like medically, as an American, I'm entitled to treatment of an emergency situation just because I don't have insurance. It's all about money, right? It's all about money. Send him out. Send him out. If he gets in a wreck, if he loses consciousness, falls, hits his head, and that's it. Then that's it. He's not part of the game. He's not part of the system. He's not playing by the rules. And that's man. Anyway, that's what happened. I end up just ripping my IV out and just walking up out of there, man. And I said, look, if something happens to me, I'm suing y'all for medical malpractice. Well, I can't sue them, but maybe my wife could. But that's neither here nor there. I don't care about them. So anyway, I got a golf ball size gallstone in my gallbladder that sometimes triggers my central nervous system and makes me pass smooth out. Oh yeah, well that's the United States of America for you. You know, in this country here, we've all been divided and turned against each other, so that we don't see that the true enemy is our government. The government that's tied into an elite structure that's global. It's global. It's a global thing, and that's what people don't realize is that in a system like this, man, it's never designed for us to really just win. And so you take the little moments that you have in life, and I see so much of this these days. People living in their cars, homelessness is a lot more popular thing. I've experienced it myself in life, but we live in a system that unless you're born into a certain type of lifestyle, like it's not about like them people don't have to face justice, but boy, let one of us mess up, boy, they're gonna make an example out of our ass. But that's what I'm saying. What we really need to do as a nation of people, because they're a house of cards, and that house of cards is only held up by the minds of the gullible. You got people that still think there's this right and left, except the fact is that there's these fingers pointing from both sides of the aisle. There ain't never a damn thing done about it because it's all a game. It's all like a soap opera, man. Something. Hey, we're gonna get y'all's attention over here and get y'all divided, but we're gonna take care of our own stuff over here. We're gonna be shitting on y'all. That's what it is. Yeah, yeah, for real, TC, for sure. But uh, I just every day, man, it's just something else and something else, and it's like we gotta wake up and realize that the only thing that we can really do is take a total stance of non-compliance. Quit playing the game. If everybody quits playing the game, then there's nothing left to hold up the house of cards. And it falls in when we create our own systems of trade and barter in this country. We go back to a system where we depend on each other instead of a corrupt government. That's what we need. But see, I'll get gatekeep. If I say stuff like this, oftentimes, man, it lands on a sensitive area, a sensitive topic. Because for so long, man, like everybody's like, oh, that's that old devil. The devil's raising it, man. Look, I don't care what religious text you look at, man, whether it's the Bible, Quran, whatever. Look, every single time, man, uh, every single time, freaking, uh, somebody just sent me a message. I was just looking at it, got me off the topic. But every single time, like in the book of Job, uh, when the devil's in the presence of God, guess what? He does what he's told. God don't smite him down right then and there, like, oh, I'm at war with you. Come here, I'm gonna smite you down. No, he says, have you considered my servant Job? Wow. God just sent that fool on a mission. Then when Jesus came, it was the same thing. When he was in the presence, he cast them out. They must obey because for God to be God, he must be subservient. He must be sovereign over all things, and all things must be in subservient subjection to his will. That's the only way that God can actually be God, because God is not his name. God is his title. God is the title of deity, the one in control of all things, the one that sits in the superposition and picks the destiny of all things as time and space continue on. That's who God is. God's not this hard to understand. Look, if you want to know what absolution is, think in terms of energy and frequency and vibration. That's what Nikola Tesla said. That fool was one of the smartest men that ever lived. And guess what? They took him out. They took him out, stole all his stuff. All right. Even Albert Einstein, even Albert Einstein said E equals MC squared. What does that mean? What does that mean? Because you heard it your whole life. But what does it mean? It means that matter is energy slowed down. What we actually see with our eyes and hear with our ears, that's all processed through brain filters, man. It's basically like a filter on your phone. If you go to one of these little app things that people like going to these days, and I can do it right now. Let me see. I don't remember which one it is because I don't ever use it. But anyway, my point is I could do anything and make a filter and make it look like this or that. But that's what what our brain does too. When we hear something, when we see something, they go in and they're filtered through these receptors inside of our brains, right? And when things are filtered through those receptors through our brains, we make sense of what it is. It's called perception. But perception is not the reality of it, because if you look at the molecular reality of all matter, E equals mc squared. You know, point blank, everything that we see, hear, and experience in a natural, what we feel is a natural sense, we're all just really spirits. We're all just really spirits. Energy slowed down enough to gain consciousness of itself. So when you look at it that way, you begin to see, you can see, begin to see through the matrix of the whole situation, because the matrix of the whole situation is over time an elite group of people have risen up and they started messing with the dark occult. The history's there. All you got to do is go look at everything in Washington, how the Washington D.C. is laid out. Go, there's so much stuff within the history of this country that's founded on the dark occult. It ain't even funny, and they've even infiltrated religion and also Christianity. Because if you look at it, like turn like after the whole Charlie Kirk thing, that got hijacked by the elite. That Turning Point USA, that's hijacked by the elite. That's somebody, that's a whole foundation that likes to use they like to use Jesus as a do my dirty work scapegoat. You see, and that's what they like to look at Jesus. They want him to do their dirty work like a scapegoat, man. But that ain't what it is. See, because Jesus is the way, right? And when he said, I'm the way and the truth and the life, no one comes to the Father except through me, it's because he is the Father perfectly reflected through the Son to show us how to be sons and daughters of the Most High. Love is the key to all of life. Love your neighbor, love love yourself, and love God over all things. If you love God over all things, then all things come together for the good of the things. And I'm not saying all things work together for the good. Everything's gonna be good all the time. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that whenever you focus your soul energy upon something that's real and absolute, like love, there's nothing in this world that can prevail over you, because you take the resonance of your being and you fully invest it into that love, and that love is the thing that gets you through all of this. Like, none of this makes sense apart from that. And so if you try to wrap your mind around the things of this world, and gain an understanding for why is this way or why is that way, you won't do it unless you are able to understand that there's something called code compaction, and that's where everything can be reduced to ones and zeros. So every word, every action, everything, you can basically compact every word and every action of everything in this world to ones and zeros. Ones being the things that are said and done as a result of love, and then the things that are the zeros being the things that are said and done in the absence of love. See, so all those things either build up and edify or break down and destroy. Now, some would say, well, we don't need anything to break down and destroy, but listen, God created the whole thing. God created the whole thing, right? He said, I created the darkness and the light. He said, I created the darkness and the light, right? So nothing can defy the will of God. All things work together to tell a story, and the story is his story, history. It's that simple. We're all basically consciousness given a perception of itself to make a choice. We're going to either serve love or the absence of love. We're either going to build and edify or tear down and destroy. We're the only species on this planet destroying this planet. And if you really look, if you think about it, just think about it. If you think about it in great detail, what's really destroying this planet? Oh, the greed of man, the desire for control and power. That's exactly what's destroying this planet. You don't see bears, they're ferocious, but you don't see them out there making stuff that's polluting our planet and just going after each other and just maliciously doing crazy stuff. No, they're in line with nature. I need to catch up on these comments real quick. Yep. Yep. I agree with that. But so to fully, just to fully have the ability to rise above the ways of the world is just you got to be able to see through the matrix of it all. They're feeding us lines of bullshit every day, and somebody say, "Oh well, he's over here cussing. How can he talk about God and Jesus and say cuss words?" Well, guess what, man? That's what religion has been infiltrated by people that like to put on a character. They like to put on character, go to church every Sunday. Hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, I'm cool with that. You can do whatever you want. I'm cool with that. But if I see you in Walmart, be the same way. If I come to your house, be the same way. And I'm not saying nothing. People can be like that. That's just how people are in the world. We don't really live in a we live in a character based society, man, and it used to be based on principles prior to like the 1700s. If you read a book called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by a guy named Stephen Covey. I've read that book a lot, but he talks about how everything changed in the 1700s and people went from basing their life on morals and values and they switched it to a character ethic. So like now you don't ever truly even know a person. You don't truly know anyone. I don't even truly know the person I'm the closest to in the whole world. I only know what they present to me because that's what we live in now is a character based society. But a lot of people don't even know who the hell they are anymore. They done forgot who they are because we live in a world that's constantly pushing stuff on you, pushing stuff on you, pushing stuff on you. That's not your identity. That's not your identity. Look, when you're born, you're born into this world. I don't remember the day I was born. I don't think anybody remembers the day they opened their eyes for the first time. If you do, I want to know about it because I ain't ever met nobody like that. But you're born into this world, you begin to travel through space and time. And as you travel through that space and time, there's a persona that develops because as your perception of consciousness experiences one moment to the next, something is built inside of you called an ego, and that ego must learn a way to survive in a world that's basically designed against it. So, what does that ego do? Oftentimes, it develops a defense mechanism in a world that, let me see, yeah. And so they've developed this defense mechanism, and it's oftentimes not even who they are because who a person is when all the filters of time and space get ripped away, who are they? Do they represent love or do they represent the absence of love? And even then, that doesn't really tell you much, but I'm going to tell you who the real evil ones are. The real evil ones are the ones that run this country and then have infiltrated education, economics, religion, uh, politics. They've infiltrated everything down to the T. They're in everything. That's why everything's messed up. So the only true defense that we all have is to step outside of the game. Well, you know what? We take a stance of total non-compliance for the system that's every day screwing us over. Don't pay no more taxes. You know, quit quit supporting these places like Walmart, Target, and all these big uh, corporations that basically over time have they've eliminated the mom and pop places. You can't go there. If you find a mom and pop place, the prices are high because they're barely making it. They got to go up on their prices because basically what Walmart, Target, and all these places are doing, they're part of that system that I'm talking about, the elite structure. And the elite structure wants to eliminate us. They believe in eugenics. Look it up. It's a proven thing. They believe in eugenics and they actively practice eugenics. When all the war was going on with Germany and Hitler, all them scientists that Hitler had, they gave them refuge here in America to come and work for America and do the same damn thing. And if you look back on Charles Darwin's cousin, I can't recall his name right now, but he was one of the like original people that really started looking into eugenics. But the elites, that's their system against us. The elites, that's their system that they have formed against us. If they can divide us, they can conquer us. It's age old secret of war, and that's how they've always been doing it. And people are just now starting to say, "Hold on a second, man. This don't make no sense. What do you mean? Y'all ain't gonna do nothing to them people on that list. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing about people eating babies. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing about all this crazy stuff going on in the world. Oh, that just shows me that justice is not real. This whole system that you built and basically fed into the minds of the masses was all just a bunch of bullshit. Because if it was real, then we would see something done to the people of higher stature, social status, or I don't know, their income bracket, uh, but they're all tied in together. And it's time for us to wake up. Uh, you know, they've infiltrated everything. So I, if your church is talking the real truth about God, then tell me where it's at. I want to come listen because I want to see, or at least tell me, give me the channel information or something because I want to hear what they have to say. At the end of the day, the only way that God can truly exist is in the sense of He's over all things, and within that superposition of all things is a throne that He's seated upon, and He makes everything happen the way that it happens for a reason. And people, everything that we do, that decision that we make, and I don't remember exactly when it was that I officially made the decision to serve love. I don't know if anybody does, but at the end of the day, we make a decision. We're going to serve love or the absence of love. And everything from that point forward is basically a at the result of that choice to serve love or the absence of love. So what I do in life is to serve what I believe, and I believe in love. I believe in love not as the world displays it to be so, but I believe that God is love, and that love is life, and love is edifying, and love builds up, and it doesn't lie, and it always protects. And see, that's where people get it twisted too, because a lot of people preach, "Oh, you're supposed to turn the other cheek." No, look, I'm gonna tell you something. It says that love always protects, and so I'm gonna protect me and mine to the fullest. Like I don't go out looking for trouble, and I don't think anybody should. And if you can resolve a situation without any kind of violence or whatever, then I think it should be so. But if somebody was like come up in my house or come up on my property trying to harm my family, man, they don't get it. I'm just saying. I know at the end of the day, people make their own decisions, and if somebody chooses to serve the absence of love and come against me and mine and the reflections of love that I have in my life, that's on them. But and that goes for all. It goes for all though. But at the end of the day, like I'm just making this point to say that God ain't. See, everybody makes God look weak because it's been infiltrated by religion, and they've taken it, twisted it off into this whole other thing that it ain't. Yeah. Uh, they've turned it into this whole other thing that it's not, and that's the problem with today, with the world we're living in today. That it's not that, and love. love is always protects, and love is a beautiful thing, and it's a heavenly feeling. But at the same time, like, it ain't soft. Don't get it twisted. It ain't soft. It's in control of everything. God is love, and He's in control of it all. He ain't weak. He ain't soft, right? And religions kind of depicted Him as such, but it's certainly not so. Certainly not so. Um, I get on here, like I got music on here so people can see my music. But my music also, if you listen to the lyrics, my lyrics all go to this stuff. I'm very passionate about being somebody that's standing up on the rooftop saying, "Hey, everybody, there's something going on here and it ain't right." And I might look like a crazy bastard on here. I don't know what I look like. I don't care what I look like on here, man, because I don't get on here to gain popularity. I don't give a damn what anybody thinks about me at the end of the day because I can't do nothing about what anybody thinks about me. All I can do is I can say, "Hey, there's something going on here." And if y'all are listening, you might want to look into it because shit's starting to look a little bit shady. And so that's why I get on here. And I might be a little thrown off. Technically, I am, man. I had that brain injury, and so technically, I am a little thrown off. But man, I'm glad I had that brain injury because you know what it did? The neural pathways that were developing in my brain at the time, at the age of 13, had to develop alternate neural pathways because that part of my brain was damaged. And so I don't think like the masses. I'm glad I don't because I might be a Republican or a Democrat, or I might be a Methodist or a Baptist or a Muslim or something. I don't want to be any of that because that's all conformity to a system that was developed by the elite to divide us and conquer us. I don't want to be any of that. I stand for love. I stand for God and absolution. That's what I stand for. And at the end of the day, that doesn't fit any of their boxes. They can't control me. They can't control you. If you make the decision to say, "Hey, you know what? Not playing your games no more. Not playing your games," then you can just step on out of it and not play the game anymore. It's that simple. So that's really what I got to share, John. I don't know if I don't think I'm as equivalent to that guy. He was an amazing guy, you know. I'm just me. Man. I'm not. You know what? Back up 2014, and my life had hit a dead end road, man. And man, it was pretty much. Thank you. It was pretty much, man. I had to make a decision back then that everything in my life that I was doing, everything in my life that I was doing, kept giving me the same results over and over. And I was like, man, this ain't working, man. And then I gave my life to God in 2014, like legit. Like before that, I was more of his enemy. I thought he was weak and soft. I'd cuss somebody up that want to talk to me about it. I'd piss them off because I just didn't believe in God, and I had my own reasons. You know, I got in a car wreck back when I was 13 years old, and I had a traumatic brain injury. And before my car wreck, I used to ride my bicycle to this Baptist church. My family didn't go to church, but I chose that I wanted to go to church. I wanted to learn about God. And then I was supposed to go on this mission trip to Tennessee. And then the day before I went to that, was going to go on that mission trip, I got in a really bad car wreck. And I was in a coma for a while. But when I woke up out of that coma, life wasn't the same. I haven't been the same since. Uh, and because of that, life's been a struggle. But uh, you know, God allowed me to face the adversities and the hardships and struggles of this life so that I could learn the lessons that can only be learned from going through hard stuff in your life, man. Gosh, I ain't fixing to cry. Man, it's allergies, man. It's allergy season, you know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, freedom's gonna be an illusion for people in our age bracket, Linda. Uh, freedom's gonna be an illusion for people in our age bracket. Like, there's got to be a revolution, a true revolution. The only way we're gonna have a true revolution is for everybody collectively to take a stance of total noncompliance towards the system that the elites have built. That's the only way for the house of cards to truly fall, is for that to take place. But that won't take place until the world progressively continues to get worse and worse, and people finally wake up and say, hey, what's the common denominator in war and famine and poverty and all this? I believe it's an imbalance due to this elite structure that's been set in place. So, hey, how about we just fire all governments, all forms of governments, and we just have the law of live, love, and let live. And if you don't, you're going to F around and find out. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way to be. So basically, I believe that it's going to take the world getting to a point that people just can't make it anymore. Because a lot of times, man, until people feel backed in a corner, they're not going to do anything. And most people don't feel backed in a corner yet. But it's coming. Yeah, it's coming. When everybody starts to feel backed in a corner, that's when they'll stop playing the game. But unfortunately, it was stuff like the coronavirus that was obviously manufactured in a lab. Prior to that, I mean, dogs, if you get a set five, I believe, no, I think it's a 7-in-1 puppy shot. Uh, they protect against the coronavirus. That was something that's been around forever, but people started getting it when they genetically modified it in a lab so that people could pass it from one person to the other. And the same thing with this hantavirus. It's all eugenics, it's population control. These people are evil. They are the true definition of evil. If you look in the Bible, when God sends uh, the devil to test Job, he goes and does what he's told. When Jesus comes, guess what? He says to them demons, hey, go into that herd of pigs, and they do what they're told. Like, evil can't be these things that are not defying God. It has to be these other things that are defying God. And that is the elite structure that's set in place. The modern day Tower of Babel. They're trying to steal God's position in all the nations over all the people and say, we are God. That's the abomination that causes desolation. Is the created thing, the Antichrist standing in the holy place and declaring themselves God. They have declared themselves God over nations of people, and we are oppressed. If people don't see the oppression, then it's because they're not looking. It's an oppressive system. Justice is not justice. Equality is not true equality. It's not about race. It's not about religion. It's about social status and wealth versus non-social status and non-wealth. That's what it's truly about. It's a system designed for them to always thrive and us to always struggle. And hey, there's an imbalance in our world. It's been there for a long time. Everything that they've been telling us about this and that, it's all been lies. It's all part of the feeding the beast system. If you can feed it, it's going to grow. And as it grows, it can eventually reach a point where they can develop something called AI that can basically be a mass surveillance system, to where we're going into a new era of time to where the B system is going to be fully implemented. There you go. You see it on these little price tags on Walmart shelves. They got the little cameras up in the corner. You see it, they got cameras everywhere, and pretty soon, y'all see.